Hey everyone. Last weekend I was sitting in the truck. I put the windows down. It was a nice day, and when I went to put them back up, the rear window wouldn't come up. So it came up to about 3 inches from the top, so it was almost all the way up. So I used some tape to hold it and ordered a window motor off Amazon, and it said it was only going to take 2 or 3 days to arrive, but it ended up taking about a week. But in the course of that week, we had this horrendous rainstorm, and I came out after work, and somehow the window had not only come off the tape, but it had gone all the way down. The truck got soaked inside. And so this is kind of an odd video because it's going to pick up when I come home from work and I'm frantically putting the window up and taking the door apart for that, and then we'll get to actually the rest of the process of changing the motor. So yeah, good time had by all, and I hope you find this video helpful. Let's get busy. Hey everyone, rare late night video. I just got back from work, and got a rear window on the Suburban is off its track and fell into the door in the middle of a pouring rainstorm. And so I'm going to try to get the door panel off, get the window up, and then I guess it's a good time to do a video on how to change a power window motor. All right, let's get busy. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to pop this thing off. And then there's a bolt under here. I kind of remember this because there's a bolt right there, 7mm, and I changed the door speakers before, so I kind of remember it, the process. I thought it was a switch, but it wasn't. And I tried to get the switch out. The plastic's so old it just snapped. I was naively hoping it was a switch, let's just say that. Okay, so to get this thing out, just get a flathead screwdriver and carefully, more carefully than I was with the window switch, pop it out. Now, the reason I wasn't that careful with the window switch was because it was a torrential downpour and I was getting sick. I mean, not sick, I was getting soaked. Look at the doors full of water. It just poured in here. All right, let's get that 7mm bolt out. Fortunately, 2001 Suburban, things just come apart really easy. My whole goal tonight is just to get the door panel apart, push the window up, and then I'll handle it when I can get the motor, which will be a day or two. Okay, we got another 7mm screw, I think, right under. I'll show you. Wide shot. There's another screw under here. I can feel it in there. And then I just got to take the cover off the handle. Hey, Muggsy. To be doing this late at night, but I don't like the idea of leaving the Suburban even under the carport with a window down. Come on, okay. Oh, of course I dropped it. Of course. All right. Now this piece here, yeah, I think, as I recall, you can just pull it out. I think so, anyway. There we go. Hey, look at that. I didn't break it like I did the window switch piece. Okay, we're out. All right, now let me get the tripod. Now, if you weren't me, your next step would be to get that off there. Since I already broke it and it's inside the door, all I gotta do, I think, right, is lift this thing off. Yep. I do have this light here. Okay. I'll put that in the back of the truck. Look, now we got some great light. Okay, so this plastic piece has to come off. And you want to put it back on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a razor blade and I'm going to cut the goo around it, and hopefully I'll be able to show you. This is that sticky stuff. I don't want to stretch this tape. I mean this plastic sheet. So I'm going to use a long blade and I'm going to cut around it, and then that'll come off. And the motor, I should be able to see in there, but I should be able to just lift the window right up. All right. Sorry it's late, so I'm kind of in a hurry. When I get the motor, it'll go back together significantly slower and more obvious, so you'll be able to see more. Okay. So exactly what I'm going to do. I got a blade, pretty long one. I'm just going to kind of go in and just not try to get this off without wrecking the plastic sheet or that sticky stuff, because I would like to be able to reuse this. Yep, missed a spot. Hopefully the footage isn't too dark. It's a little hard to see here. I think whoever applied this goop here was a little generous. All right, I can see the window. Now, I could at this point probably raise it up, but I'm gonna get this sheet off anyway. Just so I have less to do when I get the motor. I've never changed a motor in one of these, but these motors are pretty much all the same. Is exceptionally sticky here. Not sure why. Okay. All right, so what do we got still holding this thing on? This handle, which I don't have to take off. Speaker a little bit. Not really. And just cut this stuff around here too. All right, so I don't have to get this stuff off. Let me just get a clip or some blue tape. I'll just hold it up out of the way. I'll be right back. Suppose I should have moved the camera back a little bit so you can see more of what I was cutting. I'll kind of keep it out of the way. So let's look, see what we've got. All right, there's your motor. Looks pretty easy to take out. All right, I think. Oh, look at that. Got a piece of plastic there, but the other plastic was on top of that. Okay, so looks like that bolt has to come out. Not really sure. It's kind of dark, so all I'm going to do is lift the window up and then tape it up so it stays up. Overnight, even though I'm under the carport, but I don't want the truck to look like the window's down. Just because anybody walking by will think it's an easy target. Oh wow, look at that. So what's going on here? It's going to be interesting. There's a tie wrap. That's so weird. But I don't think it's not off the track. Not at all. It's not off the track. The motor just went down and went all the way down and wouldn't go back up. I gotta say, I've never seen that happen. Maybe water got in there or on the switch. I don't know. It's so weird because I went out to the truck and the window was down. So when I tried to put it back up, I could hear the motor click. So, and the motor would seem to pull when I pushed it down, but it only clicked when it was going up. So, all right, let me push this window up. I'm wasting enough time. Hopefully this won't be difficult to do, and it's not stuck down there. And I should be able to just kind of pull it up. Yep. Okay. All right. See if I can get a clamp. Hold that thing up. So what I'm going to try to do, I don't want to just solely rely on the tape because the window's wet, so the tape's not going to stick great. But see here, I can put a clamp right here and stop the window from falling back down on the track. All right, let me get a clamp. Hopefully that'll hold. Let's see if this will work. Yep, and I'll be able to close the door, I think. I should be able to close the door. Let me see if I can close the door. Plastic panel out of the way. I'll be using those tools all again anyway. I'm not going to hit anything, right? Not going to hit the toolbox. Windows up. All right. I was gonna lock it, but I got Nacho here. Say goodnight, Nacho. He's like, no, I'm not leaving. All right, so that pretty much is it for the night. But anyway, so if you're ever in an emergency like this, I'll tell you, thank God I have a Suburban, because with a Suburban, it's pretty easy. It's actually very easy to get the door panel off. It's really only a 5 to 10 minute job if you got a few tools. And all you need is a flathead screwdriver and a 7mm socket, and the door panel comes off. Just pull it up. So, it's been a long day. I will be getting a motor, and I'll finish the video in daylight when I have a little bit more time. All right. I'll see you guys soon. Take care. All right, following day, I am told the power window motor will arrive in a couple of days. I ordered it, and just want to warn everyone, if this happens to you and your truck gets soaked inside, absolutely you want to dry it out quick. You don't want that mold smell. For some reason in these Suburbans, if you get that smell in there, it never seems to leave. So once I do this repair, I'm going to take the wood bed out and make sure everything under the wood bed I installed is all dry. But it looks like the water mostly is on the carpeting under the seat. Okay, so here's the switch with the broken plastic. I'm going to make a little patch for that. Okay, so I just made a little cup there so I can fill this. I'm not sure you can see it, so I can fill this crack with some JB weld, and I've got a screwdriver pushing up on the bottom to keep it flat, so I'll patch it, fix that crack at the same time, and hopefully I can get the JB weld to mix close to that color. And then once it's all done, I'll just sand it. You know, I can always find more uses for this stuff. I'm putting extra of the white side of the epoxy, the white half, because I know I need a kind of less black, but we'll see how it ends up looking. I want it to look very much like a putty color. So I'm gonna just push it in and try to build a little part there, fill that hole. How to do this while looking through a camera. All right, the crack is definitely filled. So now I need to kind of make sure that gully is filled. Not quite. Not quite. Okay. So I'm going to let this sit for a bit. And then once it's mostly set, I'll take the tape off and I'll just quickly smooth that down, but that shouldn't take very long at all for this to harden. All right, well, that was fun, but we got through it. So let's see. Here's the regulator and motor. Let's see what's in the box. Now this looks like a pretty wild contraption, but it's pretty easy. You know, you get your two sides, your motor side and your far left side. Your window will fit in these, right in here, these guys. These bolt to the door, these bolt to the door, and there's a bolt here, I think it bolts, so 5 bolts. The door, the window fits in here, Uh, and then the cable pulls the window up and down. That's it. It's not nearly as complex as it looks. It's kind of screwy looking mechanism, but I guess I can't fault it. The original one, it did last 22 years, so that's not bad. So let me get the door open and we'll get to it. All right, so here we have the door open. We're right where we left off. Let's see. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to release the window from the clamps before I take the regulator bolts out. So it looks like 10 millimeter. You want to make sure you've got your window secure. Last thing you want is for your glass to come slamming down. And a whole new mess of problems. Shouldn't be too difficult. Just loosen these and they'll let go of the window. And when you put them back on, just make sure you don't over tighten these guys. Yeah, all right, they're loose. So just for the hell of it, since this window has been on this tape for a while, I'm going to put a couple extra pieces of tape. Because like I said, I'm kind of panicky that this guy could let go and come back down on me. I guess maybe just because that's exactly what happened in that rainstorm. And it could have been the wind. I didn't have it taped up great because I thought I was going to have the replacement motor in a couple of days. And I didn't. All right, so should be able to take this clamp off now. It's been kind of holding everything up, but just for the hell of it, I'm going to leave it on for now, just as a safeguard. And let's take the regulator bolts out, which are also 10. Did I say 10? They're also 10 millimeter. Get these guys out first. This side. As I said, this whole mechanism, it looks complex, but it's not. It's actually quite easy. Just get them all loose first. What's going to be interesting is, I believe that it's got to come out through here. So that's going to be a trick. Alright, let me show you what bolts I'm taking out. Hopefully I'm taking out the right 5. I think so. Let me grab the phone. Okay, so you got a bolt here, a bolt here, a bolt here, a bolt here. This is the 5th bolt right here. Hi, Nacho. Nacho's coming to see what I'm doing, of course. I'm gonna move the camera back a little bit so you get a better view. Kind of tricky. This is not an easy thing to capture on camera. But this no matter how much I tape this up, it still seems to get in the way. But okay, let's take those bolts out. clamp off. I don't know how much this clamp actually helped. Maybe it didn't help at all. But the window didn't come down, so. Alright. So let go of the window. So the only thing right now holding the glass up is that tape. So we got to get this guy out through here. So see, that wasn't that hard. That part comes right out. See the cable here? I'm not really sure why this thing stopped working, but I do think this case, it was the motor and not the regulator. Because it would still move. Okay, there is a clip on the motor right here. So let me show you that. Okay, so we've got a clip right here, which looks like you just got to push that in. So let's go in from under, see if that helps. Oh yeah, that's how you do it. Okay, so this is pretty easy actually. So don't try to push it in from there. Just go in under here with a flathead screwdriver, push down, it'll come right out. Okay, hopefully you saw that, what I did there. I think you did. Yeah, I think so. Maybe not. But anyway, I'll do it again just at this angle so you can see it. So you got this clip, there it is in. So all you got to do is come in here, under it, push that down, and then pull it, and it'll come right out. See? Pretty easy. All right, back to sliding this whole thing out of the way. And I can't guarantee you're going to get any type of useful angle here. But you'll see me pull it out of the door. And I will say, I have never done one of these before. So I really have no concept of how this thing is going to come out, how easy or how difficult it's going to be. All right, let me get my socket. So this guy is the last one. So just remember, it's going to be hiding, likely behind a little strip of that somehow conveniently hid the bolt. Okay, now we all loose, clips out, wiring harness out of the way, set free. Okay, great. Not hard, unless you get the right bolts out. All right, now I'm going to slide the whole mechanism out of the door. And let's see if we can find the best way to do that. Need to get around that and under it. A good practice is probably, as soon as we get this guy out, put the other one back in right away. So see how that came out? Let's put the other one back in the same way. Oh, I got a tie wrap there I gotta cut. Okay, slide this guy right back in. I'm gonna take this off. I know that's not supposed to be there. Right back in the same way. And up, and then this guy goes in and up. That off. almost done. Okay, we got our other piece, which bolts on there. Window will sit in. Let's get our bolt. Okay, I'm not, as I always do, I'm not tightening anything up until I've got everything where I want it to be. Okay. All right, this cable harness here that you can't see, this cable harness has got to go behind the motor. So just be mindful of that as you play around here, that it can't kind of be like that. All right, so I'm going to show you exactly how this goes, because this may or may not be important. I don't know. I've never done this before. But here you go. So lift the motor up and take this cable and put it behind this part of the motor. Okay, here's your plug for your motor, which is actually different, interestingly enough. It's loose. You know, on my motor, this is part of it. This is mounted right to that. Look at that. Huh, well, aftermarket. And then that goes like, so we're gonna align it like that. And there's that bolt, and there's that bolt. Okay. All right, so let me, let's see if we can find an angle here where it's at all useful to you. I kind of think you can see that. I don't know. I can't see what the camera's saying, but my guess is you can see what it's doing. Okay, so here's this bolt. This was the one that I forgot or didn't find right away. And we've got this bolt down here, which is in there. And we've got the bolt up top. Again, as I said, I'm keeping them all loose. For now. And the motor plug. Weird how this is not connected. I don't know. Okay, but just make sure it's kind of where the other one would have been, which is right there, so it's out of your way. All right, so we're pretty much ready to tighten these guys up. The only thing left is to make sure the window sits where it's supposed to into the regulator. And we'll do that very carefully when I release the tape. The one on this side, ironically, is right in place, and this one's not quite. Let's get these guys tight. Okay, that's all mounted. So next we're going to lower the window into these. But before I do that, let's make sure those are loose. What size were those? Those are the same size, I believe. Yeah, those are loose. Okay, I'm gonna go back on the tripod. And so what I'm gonna do is, actually I won't go back on the tripod right away. excuse me. What I'm gonna do is, what I've got to do is I've got to get the glass, if you can see it, to sit right in here. And this one's easy. It's right there. This one, on the other hand, is a little low. I'm gonna get the glass to drop right into the regulator here. Which, you know, this shouldn't be an issue at all. Should be very simple. All I'm gonna do is kind of put my hand under here to make sure the glass doesn't slip. And I'm just gonna release the tape. And that should allow the glass to move right to where I want it. Right in there. Okay, we're in. We're not quite in. Loosen it up some more. Now we're in. Okay. So these, yeah, tighten them. Don't make them very tight though. You don't want to clamp down on the glass so much you crack it. So you gotta kind of go by feel here. I'm sure there's probably a torque setting for it. I'm gonna tell you, the torque setting for me is, this is rubber, and the torque setting is not too tight. But, you know, tight enough that you know it's not gonna let go. All right, let's take our tape off. Been on long enough. All right, our motor's in. Don't need that piece of tape. Okay, so now let's put the plastic back. You'll recall I used a razor blade to separate it from itself because it's nasty, sticky stuff, and you don't want it to completely peel off. But I think this is probably, in my opinion, the best way to do it is with a razor blade, because it leaves enough on both sides so that it all just pops right back in. See how easy it's going back into place? No problem whatsoever. You didn't rip any of it. It's just going right back where it needs to be. Okay? Look at that. Look at how fast this is going. We got our dust barrier back in. Okay, we are already and ready to put the door panel back on. We need our switch. Oh yeah, the switch. Well, you'll recall I stupidly broke the plastic on this switch so it wouldn't mount in the door panel, but I fixed it with some JB Weld. I made a new piece of plastic. All right. Going to help out, Nacho? All right, so I'm gonna put the door panel in the back. Okay. You're in the way, Nacho. He probably knows he's in the way. Come on. In or out? Oh, my boy. You're making this difficult, Nacho. Unnecessarily so. Okay, so I'm gonna put my window switch right there, just to kind of make sure I've got it in the right spot. I'm going to put my light back in that socket, which, you know, this is stuff that can be done by taking that light out of the door first, which may actually have been a better idea. I'm going to hook there, hook there, hook there. Handle comes through, so we just go up and hook it back in. Did we get it that easy? I'd like to think so. Wow, hey. Oh, I did drop my cable back in there though. Let's see first how my window switch repair did. And check, orientation on this may actually be like that. Let me check that on the other side. Okay, you got a white and black symbol, so this is actually the way this goes in. It's in. Sweet. You got this guy. You got this. There's your door locker. Make sure it goes in the middle of that. Push that in. I would hope that's locked. That's locked. There we go. That's in. Your this piece just goes around it. It's pushed in. I love these things. Everything snaps together. And now we've got our bolts, of which there are not many. There's one that goes down here. These are, again, 7mm. So put this guy in. And you've got a bolt that goes in under here. See that bolt hole? It's maybe out of alignment a little bit. Oh, this all feels fine. Let's see. See that bolt hole? See if it is there. Maybe I'm just not seeing it. Yeah, it's there. Okay. So yeah, we got it. All right, right from the get-go. Gotta love these trucks. You know? I say that before I've even tested the window. Now comes the big shot. Let's see if this worked. One would hope. Look at that. We're good. You just remove the rest of this tape. It's now been on here for several rainstorms. All right, it works. Sweet. So Alright, I'll film the end segment right here since I do it all in one shot. So I got the whole door panel, tested it, and we're closing the video out all in one shot. So as you've seen, this isn't that big a job. Power window motors on cars used to be really difficult getting them out, taking the doors apart. On these Suburbans, Tahoes, Yukons, Silverados, it's actually quite easy. The part's not expensive, it's under $100. I don't know what a shop would charge you to do this, but I got the whole thing done for $100. And a little water on the interior. But it's my own fault. I should have taken care of it right away instead of thinking tape was going to hold the window up for a week. But hey, so as you've just seen, if you want to take on something like this, this is not a difficult job. You can do it. Just go out, get busy. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That really helps. Take care and have a great weekend.